Hi guys, my name's Anthony Cummins. How are you? Now, okay, if you don't know, I run a small forum on Facebook called the Historical Ninjutsu Research Team, and it's a group. And at the moment, I have to say, there is a superb discussion going on, and it's been going on for a few days now, and it is about the ninja fighting arts. And I've done this video basically for the Facebook group, and if you're seeing this via YouTube, please come across and have a look. Right, the story is there's a nice gentleman called Peter who goes under the name Tokugawa, basically Tokugawa Shinobi, and he has put on his theory is that he believes that the ninjas did have a separate form of martial art, or that the physical skills that they show were actually changed and manipulated from normal samurai jiu-jitsu, or whatever you want to call it, the samurai fighting arts, into a more deceptive, clandestine style of fighting. Now, I'll be honest with you, it's a little hard to understand fully what he's trying to say, because he's not saying that the ninjas had a totally distinct style, and he's not saying they're the same. He thinks there's a middle ground, okay? Now, to point out, basically, I personally believe, and it's only a belief because remember, proof changes everything, that there is no such thing as a ninja martial art. This is totally made up, and that the shinobi were part of the samurai culture, which is not a belief, that's actually true. The shinobi were part of samurai culture, and that they just used whatever martial arts they did at the time in that part of Japan, at that time in Japan, whatever family they were appointed to. And that they did have ninja fighting tricks. Now, I want to be 100% clear here. There's a difference between thinking somebody has a specific set or a martial art. So, for example, I kick in a certain way, I punch in a certain way, I defend in a certain way because I'm a ninja, versus tricks. And I'll go through the tricks in a bit. So, I believe that the shinobi, of course, in fact, I don't believe I know the shinobi had certain tricks. But I don't believe they had a different way of punching or a different way of fighting or a different way of doing anything like that. Now, Peter is saying that because a shinobi was constantly within deception, he would then change his mindset. And because he's full of deception, his martial arts would become full of deception. That's his theory. Peter is assuming that all samurai are a unified warrior class of people under the same martial system. I'm sorry, Peter, I disagree. Not all samurai fought the same. I believe they fight very similarly. There's only so many ways a person can fight, but especially within the same armor, within the same culture. Yes, I agree there'd be a certain unified fighting system. However, generally each school had their own system and little variations. So you simply saying that the ninja are opposite to samurai, and that samurai fighting and I'll quote you here, an honourable way, and ninja fight in a deceptive way, I think it can't be done, because there's no unified fighting system while they are similar. To add to that, when you say that the samurai fight honourably, this is actually, in my opinion, and I think many people will agree who've read some of the history, is that that's actually a misnomer. There is no real honourable fighting samurai thing. That's from reading a lot of or taking a lot of information from. I don't mean to be rude, but films and things like that. If you look at actual samurai combat, it's full of dirty tricks, horrible ways, like three men holding a man down and cutting his head off for a start while he's struggling. It's not the honourable system you think. But mainly, my point is that the samurai did shinobi missions. People think that shinobi missions were done by shinobi. This is not true. Shinobi missions were done by anybody. Now, if somebody was shinobi trained, that made them much better at that. But night raids, shinobi raids, you could handpick anyone. I even know in the manuals it says if somebody is not trained, make sure you take these precautions. Because they take samurai with them. Read the Shonen Kit, it's like shinobi leads samurai. So I want you to all think now, if you have a group of 10 people, and you have, say, one shinobi leading them, and they're all on a night raid, creeping up to an enemy camp, they've got to take out guards, people have got to go, they've got to creep in and take out Togiki scouts, which are listening scouts, seeing scouts. All these people have to go. And Peter was saying that a shinobi would come up and over their mouth and kill them. Whereas a samurai fights, he fights in the open, he shouts loud. Well, of course, what do the samurai do on a night mission then? You know, Shinobi are not the only people who do night missions, samurai do them. Shinobi leads samurai doing them. So straight away that cuts the theory down, but we'll continue. What I wanted to say to Peter is, and to everyone, is that if you have a theory, you have to have proof. And if you don't have proof, because sometimes it doesn't exist, Peter is correct, not everything is in the ninja manuals, we know this, like things are oral traditions. But if you don't have proof, you have to have solid logic. Now, Peter's given lots of his logic across, but I'm afraid I and pretty much everyone disagree with Peter, and his logic is not sound. So please come over and have a check and see if you agree or disagree with Peter. See what you think. Samurai versus ninja. This cannot be true. There is no such thing as samurai versus ninja. People get this idea because they have the tail end of ninja history, when ninjas took a drop in social class. Yeah? You forget we talk, especially at the team, about the Sengoku period. So, pretty much, samurai and ninja, you can't separate. Ninjutsu and the ninja are a subclass of the samurai class. Okay? They're a sub-specialization. I am not going to go into it here, but I want you to all stop now, when you finish this video, go down and look at the links. Stephen Ogiria, my very good friend and teammate, has done 3 separate videos on this issue, and I've linked them all in there, and he did them on the same day, so they all flow together. So please go and have a look. People say we don't know what fighting arts the ninja did. We do know what fighting arts the ninja did. They did samurai fighting arts. We know this because, like, for example, the Banten Shukai, which is the great one, is if you have to commence in criminal capture or you have to approach someone with a physical manner, you should learn Kenjutsu and you should learn Iai, as in Iaido, and binding people. Doesn't say there's a special ninja way, doesn't say there's a ninja sword or a ninja way of doing it. He simply says, as samurai you should, he doesn't say as samurai, but in the context it's, you should know how to fight. Peter has taken the also from the Nippiden where it says you should learn to fight like a samurai when you want to infiltrate as a samurai. You've got to remember that this can be taken 2 ways. You have to fight like and adopt the martial arts of the other clans, or as a shinobi, you might not even be that good a fighter. Not all samurai fought, you know what I mean? As a shinobi, depending on the social class you were in, whether you were a samurai shinobi or you were part of like the Ashigaru shinobi, which were there, again Stephen talked about all this, you might not know how to fight. It might literally be go and learn how to fight so you can spy better, because you may have been adapted for your spying capabilities. Yeah, there's no, just by them saying you should learn the martial arts of the samurai doesn't mean that ninjas have a separate martial art. You see what I mean? I see where you're going with that point, but that's out of context. The shinobi tricks. People don't realise that, or let me get this straight, is that the shinobi did have fighting tricks. For example, the one we've done with Krista is the light one. When you've got a servant, and it says if you have a servant, i.e. he's a samurai, if you have a servant and he's carrying a torch, stay behind the torch in your servant so you keep your night vision and he's in the light and you're in the shadow. Yeah. We also know, now we don't know if this is ninja, but we do know there's such a thing called thief step. Now, Daniel from the Bubishi Kenkai, his school has shinobi step, and I found in historical documents actually thief step with the same kanji for shinobi but the other one. Yeah. And what this is a certain way of stepping in the dark when you're burgling a house, because and when you're fighting, it's to hide the reach of your thing. So there are small tricks. There are other tricks like where to position yourself in a dark house for fighting in a dark house, because you're stealing in, you're shinobi. Remember, there is shinobi. So how to do these types of things. But the classic is in, of course, True Path of the Ninja. And for Chris, I wrote a book about that. So people don't realise, and I've been holding this back a bit because we've got more to say on this, but everybody's saying, what about ninja assassinations? Now, I've come across quite strongly as like ninja assassinations, cut back on that, because ninja are not primarily assassins. And I said from the start that ninjas do assassination. However, they are not primarily assassins. That is just a small section of their work. Now, not many people realise, but here we go. My book, True Path of the Ninja, page 91, sorry, relay that, 90, talks about 2-man shinobi missions. Now, nobody's really jumped on this, but this is actually Shinobi assassination when you read other manuals. It doesn't say it here, but when you read other manuals, it is. Now, what he says is like, for example, also, here's another example of two-man technique. You should forge a letter or pretend to be a messenger from an acquaintance to lure out the opponent, so you get into the house. In this case, one acts as a messenger, the other creeps in, or you make a quarrel distraction. You can start a quarrel and take flight. While this is going on, the target runs into the house. So, the shinobi runs into the target house and starts to open locks. If you read other manuals, this is for killing people, so you can follow the servants back in and find the layout. For stealing as well, but generally that's a trick. But from this two-man teams, we have found other tricks, like, for example, in Katori Shintoryu, but also in other things, it says when you pursue a shinobi, don't just hang back a bit, because you know they're running for a reason. They've set it up, and that somebody will kill you from the side. So one shinobi runs, the other one kills. That is a ninja fighting trick. He doesn't change his sword angle. He cuts in a very specific way, in a very if you want, kenjutsu way, the same as any samurai. However, there's a trick. Two men will lead you, or they'll set caltrops out, and one man will run away, another man will fall over the caltrops, and then someone behind him will kill them. These are all shinobi tricks. There's the famous Bansen Shukai one with the string in the dark, where you capture someone's spear. It's because they can't basically see the string, you know, sending people in different directions into traps and all this stuff. They are ninja tricks. It is not physically changing the way they fight. It's changing the situation. Okay, I'm going to get on because my counter's saying 12 minutes. I don't want to keep this going. The other thing, which probably could be a little bit my fault, is the complete separation between ninjutsu and samurai arts, as in martial arts and bujutsu. I am very strong on that. There are no specific ninja fighting arts, and we all know that. However, that does not mean that the ninja who were samurai were not learning martial arts in their school. So this brings me to the next point. What is a ninja school? Nobody quite realizes that you can't separate, like I separate in my research, ninjutsu and kenjutsu and budo or bujutsu. They separate. But when you go back in time, you go to the Sengoku period, they're all merged together and slightly interlocked. For example, Natori-ryu. Natori-ryu is a very physical place in a castle and part of their apartment, but it's run by the Natori family. And of course, they don't just go like, oh, we're a shinobi school. They're a samurai school. Same as Katori Shintoryu. I've only a very small ninja curriculum, but they're a samurai school. So you cannot, in them times, fully separate everything out. I have done that to show that there is no distinct ninja fighting art. There is fighting art, and there are ninjas. And then ninjas learn fighting art. And together you cross over like this, and you get fighting tricks like the two men running away team, that type of thing. But you don't get different moves, okay? Of course, unless anybody can prove me wrong. You get three types of school. Samurai schools with no ninja curriculum whatsoever. Gone. Samurai schools with a ninja curriculum included. The possibility of a sole ninja school. This is hard to prove. Any school that solely does ninjutsu, because it's pretty much too specialized. You've got to have other art. Like in the Shoninki, Natori says, in my school we have a special rope technique. I don't honestly think he means ninjutsu. He simply means, if you look in the Kaginawa bit, in my book, he says we have a special rope technique in my school. His school is not predominantly a shinobi school, it's a samurai school. So him saying that does not make it ninjutsu. Do you see what I'm saying? They, as samurai, did not have to differentiate like we do, because they didn't have the Bujinkan who messed things up, and other schools that mess things up, and it's creating a big stir where nobody understands what's going on. And my team's job is to separate them two, realign them, and re-merge them back together correctly. Yep. So, okay, let's crack on here. So in short, you cannot separate the shinobi from samurai. And Peter, I disagree with all your points so far that the ninja have a separate fighting art. I agree that the ninja was influenced by their mental mindset, totally. They were steeped in deception, but which fighting art is not steeped in deception? Samurai war arts are based on Chinese military classics. Samurai fighting arts are the development of Japanese war skills or hand-to-hand combat sword skills over many years. Yeah, deception is everyone. I think Nick Spartacus Vaquez or whatever he's called, he says check out Yagyu Ryu. They have loads of deception, loads of gap infiltration, sleight of hand, whatever you want to call it. They deceive. I remember reading Flashing Steel, and you're hiding your sword under something and running through crowds. People are pulling people in front of them. That's not honourable. Pulling peasants in front of samurai so they'll kill them first, then you kill them. Yep, everything. There's no sort of like honourable samurai versus deceptive ninja. That again is a misnomer. Okay, I'm cracking on here in time, so I better stop. Guys, Historical Ninjutsu Research Team, Facebook, that's where it's all going on. I will add, I control that group, and I don't allow any sort of nasty comments. You just get banned straight away. Don't come back. Peter's been very nice. Everybody's been very nice. Be careful of Krista. She's a little tiger. She sounds angry, but she's really nice. And everybody's over there. Stephen Nojiri, get a Facebook account, you lazy American, and get on there. The rest of you, enjoy, but come over and help. Sorry for the speed talking. Right, gotta go. Bye-bye.